Hey, welcome to Crafty Music Tips. My name's Crafty. I'm a full-time musician. What I'm going to be doing in this video is reacting to a really early Green Day video. Let's do it. What have we got here? Oh, here we go. May 10, 1990. Full concert. Check it out. That's pretty early for Green Day. Oh yeah, straight into it. Rock and roll.
Excellent!
Wow. Okay, well, there's a lot to notice here. Okay, so it says Green Day Live PVHS. That must be something high school. I'm noticing that there's a different drummer to Trey Cool, unless all of a sudden he changed his drumming technique. This guy is playing open-handed, where his left hand's on the hi-hat. Although that's just only from seeing 10 seconds worth. Of course, he might change it up. Definitely sounds like Billy Joe's singing. Definitely sounds like a Green Day style song. There's heaps of other things that I could mention, but let's just watch a bit more. Legend. I said I was going to watch more, but how cool was that? Didn't even miss a beat. Grabbed his stick. No worries. Kept going. Oh, he's so little. Looks like he's got a problem with his guitar amp or something. How's the camera work? Would have been one of those manual zooms on a camcorder.
Extreme close-up! Wah! Wah!
So this is obviously a lunchtime concert. I'm assuming it's in the lunch break at a school. How's that? Little did all of those kids that are just hanging around at lunch know that this was going to be one of the biggest bands in the world. And what a cool school, having a punky rock band perform at their lunch break. None of the schools that I went to or teach at do that very often, sadly. By the look of it, with this keyboard setup over here, there would have been another band or maybe like a school band performing. I'm assuming that Billy Joe maybe goes to this school, maybe some of the other members, I'm not sure. Tell you what I should do. Let's find out. Oh, check it out. I'm just reading all of the song titles here. So it looks like they played for quite a while. This bit here says there was a broken bass pedal. So Billy Joe plays a few solo songs. None complete though. Yeah, so this is great. So it's obviously, it's not going to be news to some of you people watching this video. It's already got 2 million views. I'll skip to another song. So it's interesting. They would have already had an album by this stage, as it says here. And one that would end up on, I think Kerplunk was their second album. So let's have a look here. All right, there's definitely more students that have assembled by this point, 25 minutes into their concert. This is interesting. So many teenagers here, mid-1990. I wonder what they'd be doing now. Some of them might be grandparents. Which is interesting in that a lot of them kind of look like some of the youth of today. You know, it's interesting, if I didn't know what date this was, just looking at the footage of the kids roaming around the school, you know, it could have been 5 years ago. It could have been 20 years ago. There's something familiar about just, you know, a certain age group. Actually, there is one thing that's different. I'm not seeing anybody doing this. All right, now this is a really great example of a band destined for greatness, because this is a song that they've written. Like they're super tight. They've got harmonies worked out. I've worked in a lot of high schools and I haven't really seen too many bands that are this good. Of course, 1990 was a different time, but you can tell like these guys are good. How do they get that good? I would assume a ton of rehearsal, a ton of practice, a ton of experimenting, trying to figure out what things work for them.
Well, it is a night for experimenting.
It would just have taken a lot of time. We're experiencing already a lot of hard work from a band that isn't nationwide known, isn't worldwide known at this stage. So it's no huge accident that these guys became one of the biggest bands in the world. You know, they really worked at it.
I work hard for the money, so hard for the money.
Oh, the poor guys, the amount of time that I've done a gig, I can really relate, where, you know, you finish the song and yeah, oh, a couple of people. Yeah, woo. Now, how about the equipment? This is their PA. There's a couple of other speakers as well, but this is their PA, what's sending out the vocals. Doesn't look like that they've got any fallback speakers from what I can tell. They've just got these two speakers. They look like they're resting on like a cement kind of bench to sit on. No speaker stands. Just while we're at it, let's quickly listen to Billy Joe playing a couple of these quick solo songs.
Does anyone have a bass drum pedal?
I've probably asked that question myself from time to time. It's like, of course, someone's just going to pull one out of their bag.
Throw me up a fan. Bass!
See, this is really good experience for Green Day. You can tell that Billy Joe right now, you know, he's a bit lost for, oh, crap, what do I do? You sort of have to be in that situation where a bass drum breaks to then figure out what reflexes do you have to be able to keep the show going. How can you do it in a not too awkward way? Thankfully, this is not a concert where people have paid for tickets, but it is interesting. You can see he's like trying to think, what do we do? What are our options? He's thinking. Come on, Billy, give us something. Isn't it great he's tuning by ear? Doesn't have a tuner. Rock and roll. Old school.
We're taking a waste of valuable time here.
Oh, they're struggling. So, look, if you haven't got anything else out of this video other than the fact that if you're a musician and you're on stage, then plan for something going wrong, having something up your sleeve that you can still do in the meantime.
Hey, can you hear me? I'm cold. Where's our drummer? Get him back here. Ribs is good. It troubles my brain when I see it again. So I can rest my head. Angels dancing away as all of my thoughts can rearrange.
All right, they got drums again. Oh, lovely. Bit of teamwork there from Billy Joe. Here, mate. Have your stick. You might need that. Oh, they must be so relieved. We got drums again. All right, so have you seen this video before? If you're a Green Day fan watching this, you'd probably be like, yeah, man, that video's been up there for ages, 2 million views. I'm a little bit late to the game as a Green Day fan. Green Day is one of the bands that I really like. I wouldn't say that they're my favorite band, but I do really like Green Day. I am a fan, and so I want to watch more of this. I'm sure that there's a lot more that I'll be able to pick up, but already I've just noticed so many things. Like, for instance, I've said it before, but these guys were already really good. Maybe just slightly a little bit rough with, the equipment that they had on hand, as well as how to deal with an oops moment that happens on stage, keeping the show moving without it feeling kind of awkward. I've got to say, Billy Joe's singing ability is already awesome. He's on pitch as far as I can hear, like basically all the time, and it doesn't look like he has a fallback speaker. In regards to their appearance, it looks like Billy Joe has already started to bleaching his hair. It doesn't look like that it's super spiky in a punky kind of way. The other two guys definitely haven't bleached or done anything with their hair. So that was something that they would have implemented into their image as time went on. Also, another thing that I thought was quite interesting was someone yelled out, "Play a cover," when the drummer was off trying to get his fixed pedal. And I guess that's something that I've noticed as a past original performer that has also done a bunch of cover type of performances, in a more sort of public friendly place. What they're dealing with there is a bunch of people that weren't specifically there to see the band. They just happened to be there. And so a way that you can kind of win a crowd over is by playing something that they can connect with, that they already know. Then give them a bunch of your original stuff as well. But, it didn't seem to hurt them in the grand scheme of things, because they already had a bunch of really great material. They were really well rehearsed. So they were just sticking to their guns, doing what they were really passionate about.
Everybody's got the passion to make it happen.
Actually, another thing that I noticed now that I think about it is that a lot of the really early Green Day songs were really quite good, but they hadn't quite reached that Dookie album status. Songs that are quite anthemic, that are really quite catchy on first listen. Now, I want to quickly see how this 1990 Green Day compares to a later Green Day. Let's just type in Green Day live and then see what happens. All right, live from Woodstock in 94. Let's have a quick look at that. Straight away, the crowd has increased a little bit, and the size of the stage and the equipment surrounding them. How's that? Imagine at a school if you just had this big revolving floor and just, this band just appears behind the canteen. Look at that. He's a little bit older, hair's a little bit different. It's amazing what 4 years can do. Yeah, how's that? 2 foldback speakers for him this time. What a luxury. All right, let's have a quick look at Green Day live from 2020. So in 2020, that's 30 years later. Well, look, it's great to see that Green Day are alive and well, still rocking after all of those years ago in 1990. So in these last decades, what's changed? A lot of the tried and true things they already had. They were really tight. They had some great songs. They had a really together kind of look. They were just, they'd obviously done a lot of work already. A good saying for success, how do you get success? It's where it's opportunity meets preparedness. And so they were definitely prepared, and then they obviously, through being prepared, were able to take their opportunity and really let it run.
Every time we say goodbye, I die a little.
So there we have it. There you go. I'm going to watch the rest of that gig at the high school. I urge you to do so as well if you haven't seen it. I'm sure there's going to be an extra bunch of gems just by watching the rest of it. So how did I do reacting to this in comparison to you? Was there anything that I talked about that you learnt? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know if there's any other thing that I could react to in another reaction video. Now, this Crafty Music Tips YouTube channel has a bunch of other different types of videos that you can go check out. And also there's a bunch of other social media platforms that you can go follow Crafty Music Tips. One thing that I'm really proud to tell you about is if you play a fretboard but you keep thinking in numbers and you would like to change that, learn a bit more about where all of the notes are around the fretboard, well, I have a paid course that you can go check out. I'll leave the details below. But if you're a bit strapped for cash, what I can do is I can offer you a free gift. It's called 5 Steps to Fast Improvement. No matter what the skill is that you're trying to develop, if you're anything like me, then you know what it's like to feel like that you're chasing your tail, that you're just not improving at the rate that you would like. And so the reason for that is because you're just not really clear about what it is that you're trying to do and how you're going to go about it. And what I do is I give you the 5 steps to be able to take to be able to make it really clear and make it something that you're going to see the improvement. So if that's something that sounds helpful for you, I'll leave the details for that below as well. My name is Crafty. It's been yet another music tips video. I've enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. I'll see you in another one really soon. Rock on.